Okay, this is lesson 4.4, addition property of equality. And this is where we start to work on solving algebraic equations. So let's take a look at that real quick. Here we have an equation. Now an equation is going to have an equal sign in it. Whereas an expression doesn't have an equal sign. It just has like 7x minus 6, so you'd have to simplify that. So expressions you only simplify. And that's what we've been doing up to this point, is we've just had expressions. All right. Whereas here we have equal sign, and so we would have to combine like terms and isolate that x. All right. So that just explains the differences between the two. Okay, let me back up here for a second. Okay, so this is lesson 4.4, addition property of equality, and here we have the differences between equations and expressions. Equations have an equal sign, expressions do not. Okay, linear equation. In one variable, the variable in this case would be the x. We have the a, b, and the c to show just different numbers in a general sense. You can pretty much put anything in there for those terms. Where a, b, and c are real numbers. Okay, addition property. This is where you have two terms. Like a equals to b. And if we were to add, you can do anything to an equation. The only thing is, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side to get it to balance. In this case, we're adding, okay, two terms. So whatever we add to one side, we've got to add to the other side also. If we apply minus c to one side, we have to apply minus c to the other side. And that's to keep the equation balanced. Okay? Not like the press sometimes where they say they're fair and balanced. Okay, yeah, well, I'm not so sure about that. But, okay. Solve for x. Here we have x minus 4 equals 7. Alright, so let's look at these problems here. And I like to work through them so you can see how they work as we go along with these. Alright, so let's get here we have x plus 7 equals 10. So the main idea here is to isolate the variable. That's the whole purpose in solving this. Well, you remember, if we have x plus 7, we want to apply the additive inverse. In other words, the opposite to 7. Okay, so in that case, we would have to apply what? If this is x plus 7, we'd have to apply minus 7. Minus 7. And because we want to isolate that x, we're isolating that x, so we're trying to get rid of that 7 by making it go to 0. And so we apply minus 7 so that we've got 7 minus 7 is 0. Well, we normally don't write this as x plus 0. But that's what's happening, is the 7's go to 0. We just write it as x equals 2, 3. Okay? And this is our answer. Now we want to check it. To check, we substitute the solution back in into the equation. And when we do that, then both sides should equal. Okay? Both sides should equal. So, if we took the 3, here's our original equation again, x plus 7 equals to 10. It's like we're cutting that x out, we put parentheses there. And we substitute that 3 in there for x. Well, 3 plus 7 is 10. Both sides equal, and it checks. Okay, so you want to be checking your work to make sure that what you got is the right answer. Okay? But this here is our answer. Okay? Oops, I just erased that. This is our check. Okay? Alright, questions with that? Okay. Let's say that we have something like this. 7x equals to 6x plus 4. Okay, here we want to combine like terms. First thing, combine like terms. We want to get the x's together. Okay? So that means we've got to get this 6x over here. Well, one way we could do that, see this is a positive 6x. Well, what would make that 6x become a 0 and move over here? Yeah, minus 6x, right? So we apply minus 6x minus 6x. And so 7x minus 6x, that's what? 1x. So the 6x's, they go to 0, right? Well, we don't normally write it as 0 plus 4, but that's what's happening, right? The 6x and the minus 6x, they go to 0. But you don't have to write that 0 there. I just put that there to show you that's what's really happening. Okay, so that's our answer. So if we were to check it, this would be 7, where x was, we put the 4, equals to 6, again where x was, we put the 4, plus 4. And so 7 times 4, that's 28, 6 times 4, 24, plus 4, and as long as our check shows both sides equal, it's not going to be, the check is not going to be the same as what we had here, right? For the answer. But the check is supposed to be equal on both sides. Well, you have calculators, so you can check your work on the calculator. Okay, and see that both sides are the same. Okay, questions with that? Okay, well, what if we have something like this? Y minus 1.2 equals to negative 3.2 minus 6.6. All right. Notice there's no x's on the right side. So we want to combine like terms. So step 1, combine like terms. Okay, so we got a negative 3 point, and if we have to off to the side, negative 3.2 9.2 and a negative 6.6. The signs are the same, so what are we doing here? Adding negatives, right? So we're adding negatives, so that's going to be 2 and 6 is 8. And 3 and 6 is 9. And so that's a negative 9.8. Okay, so here we have y minus 1.2 equals to a negative 9.8. Okay, now we want to isolate, step 2. Isolate there we go, the y. Isolate the variable. We want to get the variable by itself. Well, we have a y minus 1.2, so the opposite, the additive inverse of that would be what? Plus 1.2. So we have to apply plus 1.2 because that makes it go to 0. Plus 1.2. Alright, so we get here. Now, in this case, are we adding or are we subtracting? We are subtracting. You have to be careful with that. You have to watch the signs. Because here, we added negatives. Here, we're subtracting. And they all have negatives in them. And it's real easy to mix that up. So you want to write it down. Don't do it in your head. Because there's a thing that what happens is your mind overloads and trying to do it all in your head, and this is something new, and you're trying to work things out, and you got all these things going through in your head, and it gets overloaded, and that's when mistakes happen. Okay, it's called cognitive overload. Well, you want to write it down to help reduce that cognitive overload. Okay? And so we're subtracting. 8 minus 2, that's 6. 9 minus 1, that's the decimal point. 9 minus 1 is 8. Is that the right answer? Negative. Yeah, don't forget the negative. Alright? And then we go to check it. You can just check it in the calculator. Okay? Questions with that? Okay. Okay, now we have 3 terms. We want to solve for 6x plus 8 minus 5x equals 8 minus 3. Okay, first thing, combine like terms. Let's look on the left side. What terms are the same? 6x and the minus 5x. We're not trying to get it over to the other side. We're just combining. 6x minus 5x is how much? 1x. Okay, so that's 1x plus 8. And now we have 8 minus 3 is 5, right? And now, so first we combine like terms, right? I'm just going to put combine this time. And then step 2, solve. So, go ahead and finish that up. Okay, so what are we doing to isolate the x? Yeah, minus, and what are we subtracting? Minus 8. Minus 8. Okay, so this is going to be x equals to what? Negative 3. And that's our answer.